Hey, what's up, y'all? It's EddieAmbition, and this is Transparency.
EddieAmbition.
Wagwan to Wally, man.
You know,
Big buns.
You know what I was just thinking? If you don't got like the rose is perfect, it's gonna stay.
Yeah.
How you doing? It'll stay.
Rose bean.
That joint,
It ain't moving much.
yeah, that joint straight.
We ain't did more than 10 miles per hour yet.
But it will only stop you just can't press the brakes hard.
Looking good so far. I ain't sliding just nothing. That was damn near 20. So good, so wait. I think it's so. Wait, did I say it right? So good so far? No, so far so good. Yeah.
So I'm a,
Yeah, I'm burnt out. Let me see. All right, now we a little bit we about 8 minutes behind on schedule.
I'll tell you one thing.
We'll be all right though. All right, yeah. So just monitor that jump. Make sure we in frame. The zoom shouldn't change. That's the biggest thing. Make sure it don't slide. If it slide, we just got
yeah, it's just sliding. Everything else,
talking a little.
it's gonna stay. Oh, there it is. Okay. If we just keep straight, it'll be. The goddamn window open too, yo. Good thing. Nah, this show gotta chill, yo. So you know what it is? You can't turn the corner fast. Or if when you turn the corner, I'm gonna have to hold it, cause it's not gonna stay. If we keep straight, if we had a straight shot, no turns, this shit we locked and loaded.
So we're going to go meet Bobby. Bobby says he spent the majority of his life in prison. You know, we're going to go hear his story, see what he's talking about. He got some good news too, though. Some things that changed from most recently. You know, speaking to Bobby, you know, about the time, just letting him know about the show. You know, I guess apparently they're a little bit apprehensive. You know, a little bit worried about us coming, you know. Him and his, you know, he has a wife now and a kid, you know, a baby actually, or I'm not sure what you would call it at that age, but he gonna tell you what's up though, you know. But yeah, I think, you know, whatever. I don't know what. Good thing this ain't supposed to be super lined up. But yeah, we on the ride here now. We got a nice little trip in front of us. We already been driving for like 20 or 30 in total since picking up Brother Box, Captain Snacks here. Y'all say what's up to Brother Box, Captain Snacks. That's the man behind the camera. All the camera editing you see, that's Brother Box, man. You know, but yeah, we've been driving about 20, 30 minutes so far. Had to stop at Starbucks though. For real. If I ain't give him a certain time, I would be trying to stop at the buffet to keep it a band with y'all. You know, cause I'm quite hungry. I had some nuts and that's about it. Not even a hat. Yeah, pause. I had some peanuts and that's about it. I only had about 6 of them though. That ain't gonna hold me off. But whatever the case is, we got about another hour 10 till we get there. Out Frederick County. Those of y'all from the DMV, y'all ever heard of a term called super murder? This is super murder. This is smack in between, right outside of West Virginia, and at the same time right outside of Pennsylvania. This is real super Maryland. We from PG County, which is right across the street from DC. So it's a whole nother part. That's quite unfamiliar. I got a good feeling. We're gonna show y'all some of the environment too though. Get y'all some footage of the streets, you know, these rugged streets out here, you know. And let y'all see some of what it's like. I got a good feeling. It's gonna be a lot of trees, a lot of back roads, a lot of trees, and some woods. You know, probably some bears and stuff like that. You know, that type of stuff.
You know what I was just thinking? Cuz story could be legit like that.
It is.
You gotta understand. He said he been in prison.
You gonna have some good stories, and his story gonna be good.
Yep. You know when niggas, when people in prison, when they come home, they got stories for days.
Yeah.
Especially when you've been in there half your life.
Yeah, he said majority, so
yeah.
I mean, at least 51% or better. That's a long time.
At least he had at least do like at least 10 years, 10 to 15.
Yeah, at least 10 to 15. I think so he came home like 4 years ago. So out of 30, if you do the math,
he's 30, right?
34 now. He came home 4 years ago. 50% would be 15, meaning he had to be in there at least 16 or 15 plus at least an extra day or so.
We probably needed a battery for about 4 hours dealing with him. Told you I'm funny. No, for real, bro. I'm telling you, people that come out of jail, they got stories that would go from today until next week and longer.
Yeah.
But that be what's up though, because then you definitely learn.
Back then, I used to love you, but you showed me I was nothing to you. My heart, my trust, all came to you, and you want every time. There's no change in your heart. So fun about breaking hearts. You think it's a game? Well, I'm lost in pain. You're a wild lover, and you can't be tamed. About breaking hearts. What's so fun about breaking hearts? You think it's a game? Well, I'm left in pain. You're a wild lover, and you can't be tamed. Should've said you want polygamy. Now sold me on dreams of monogamy. Then I'd have felt a little differently. It's clear you was just playing me. Big games, little fools. You always wanna act loose. Too much invested into you. I loved you, what was I to do? I run on your chase just to play the same old games. I was a catch and you was a bait, you captured me. I was a fiend, I needed my taste, overdosing. You had a hole, I couldn't break, I couldn't leave. Back then, I used to love you, but you showed me I was nothing to you. My heart, my trust, all came to you, and you want every time. There's no change in your heart. What's so fun about breaking hearts?
What's going on?
What's going on, man?
Bobby. You too.
And now you ready to get started? Share your story?
Yep, I'm ready to get started.
All right, let's go. Hey, what's up, y'all? It's EddieAmbition, and I'm here with Bobby McVeigh.
What's going on?
Starting off, Bobby, where you from?
I was born in Jacksonville, Florida. And I mean, I went to school there a little bit, but for the most part, I was raised in like Montgomery County.
Okay. What part of Montgomery County?
All over, like Silver Spring, Gaithersburg.
Okay. Good. How old are you?
34.
So, when we originally spoke, you were telling me about how you spent the majority of your life in prison.
Yeah.
I guess let's start from the beginning. What was your childhood like? How did you come up?
I mean, I came up like just like in like a Section 8 environment, you know. So like, mom was on drugs and just you don't realize at the time, but then you just see like everything that like you went through and just like how it related, like just moving around multiple places like every like 6 months, and so I came up just like that, just that being normal.
Yeah. How did it affect you?
I say, I always like search for, wanting, to, be noticed, or something like that, because every day is like, they be gone for like weeks at a time or something like that, and I just be with some random people.
Yeah. That's interesting. Say that. So that kind of led you to kind of making some of those decisions, just making sure that even if
Yeah, yeah. I mean, when I was younger, I don't feel like. I mean, I can't say I didn't get in that much trouble because I got sent to like a alternative school when I was like 12 for like I locked my brother in a tent and I like poured charcoal glue all over it and lit it on fire, you know. So like you know what I'm saying, so I guess I was like completely like acting out and whatever, but compared to like everything that was going on, like that was like normal to me. Like that's what I just what I thought was the normal thing to do, you know. And so I ended up going to like the school called Rika, and I was there for like a minute, and I went to therapy and shit there like once a week. So and I feel like that really helped like understand a lot of stuff um but once I got like 16 and stuff, and that's when like I really like nobody could tell me anything, at that point, uh, and then I ended up getting kicked out of Riker, went to Mark Twain, and graduated from there, and just by the hair, like luckily I graduated. Not that I was dumb, I was never going to school, By that point I was just like not really caring,
So when was the first time you were initially arrested or incarcerated?
I mean, the first time I was initially ever, well, the first time I was ever like initially like is actually a funny story. Is like my first girlfriend, Rebecca. We like broke up or whatever, and I felt whatever way like like I really loved her or whatever, and like it was just like the first like girlfriend or whatever. But I was like, oh, so I'm like, I ended up like taking her credit card, and my friend ended up like taking money out of her account. But like she pretty much like knew it was me. So like she went to like my apartment in Silver Spring, not my apartment, but like where I live with my mom. I was only 17 at the time, and I was sleeping. The next thing I wake up and she's like like shaking me awake. She's like, Bobby, wake up. She's like, did you take my card? And I'm like just waking up and I'm like, what? And she's like, Bobby, I know you took it. Just tell me you took it, And I just started like laughing at her. And then like she like got all crazy. She was like, yeah, and like latched onto my face and like bit like and like blood was running down my face. And finally like she got off, but then she went down to like the police station. And next thing I know, I got a call and they were like, can you come down here? And like so she's like, so I was like, yeah, but this bitch just assaulted me, And so I ended up going down to the station. And she's like, the detective's like, did you take the card or not? I was like, no, I didn't take the card. And he's like, look, we can go through this whole thing, and I can go through the video and see that it's you, and this and that. And he said, or you can just say that you took the card, you don't do nothing about the assault, and you just don't contact her again. And so I was like, you saying if I just say I took it, then that's it? And he's like, yeah. So I ended up just saying I took it because they would have seen it was my boy on the camera, and that's all that happened with it. So that was like my first like brush with the law, and then just after that it was I took the same dude's car that was on the video to go pick up my brother in Tennessee, and his parents found out I had the car, and then they reported it stolen. And then I got arrested for that and like got put on probation like my last year of high school.
So you didn't do things such as prom or things like
No. The schools I went to never had stuff like that. Like no football and nothing like that.
Wow. So where did we go after high school?
So after high school, I pretty much got sent to prison when I was 18.
And that was for the car?
No, that was for multiple, like a burglary, robbery, and wear and carry of a handgun is what I ended up pleading to.
Yeah. So where did they send you once you got out of that?
They sent me, of course you go to Baltimore first to the, DOC, diagnostics. And then from there I went to the training center in Hagerstown. Yeah. And then I got accepted into the boot camp program, Herman L. Towson boot camp program. And so, I did my 6 months there, which was like a big, like I grew a lot over there, and then from there I got my time like reduced, not reduced, just they dropped it to half the time that I had to do in county, and so from there I like went to like this like halfway house in Rockville, I think Norbeck. It's like a little like, you live there but you have a job on the outside. And I was there, I was doing good, but just being dumb, I ended up like this girl came to see me, and I ended up not going to work, and they ended up reporting me as an escape. Yeah.
That's pretty steep.
Yeah. That's the first degree felony. Yeah.
What was your experience like in Baltimore, DOC?
It was. I mean, I think any DOC is bad. Not bad, just in the sense of like after being like in a few, it's just like the initial like, damn, where am I gonna settle in at? You know what I'm saying? Just like because not saying that it sucks, because it only takes like 2 weeks, like a month, like to fully get settled in. Like if you go to like a unit, you know what I'm saying. But that 2 weeks of having to talk, you know what I'm saying. Because if you get a lot of time, you end up having to do that a lot, So it's like forming bonds, you know what I'm saying, getting cool with someone, leaving, and shit like that, that it's just like, that's the only way, like, going into anything like that sucks,
Yeah. Probably, what about same experience?
Yeah, same experience, yeah. Because, like, you just get into these routines, and that's just how, like, you make your time go by. You get into these routines. So you start getting into a routine that you're comfortable with. It's just like, just like, all right, this is how I'm gonna do my time, and then just boom, like you're off to here, and it's just you're pretty much gonna do the same routine, but then it's just finding out like, who's the snakes, like who should I stay away from, you know what I'm saying, who's cool, who I'm gonna kick it with, shit like that,
Yeah. And you said you went to Rockville. That was the last place you had, the halfway house.
Yeah. And I mean, and then I ended up getting sent back to the county, like Clarksburg and stuff, for the last, because I got the escape. And then, I got out from that, and I was out for only like 6 months, man, because I did 2 years altogether out of all of that. And I was out for like 6 months, but I had like 2 jobs. But one of the jobs I had was working at this club called Fusion in Bethesda. So it's just, I started just like drinking heavily. Like I started getting the shakes, like real bad. Just like even when I wasn't working, I was there just drinking, And I ended up getting sent back off a resistant arrest charge. Yeah. So, but when I got sent back, I was on probation for that. But I went back in front of the same judge that always, that I went back in front of for everything else. And he was like, look, man, he's like, I'm going to give you 10 months for the resistant arrest, and I'm going to do you a favor, and I'm going to not put you on probation or nothing. And he was like, don't let me see your face in here again. And so I ended up doing like the 10 months from there. And when I got out, I was out maybe like a month or so, and I was staying with my mom. And but I started partying again, drinking a lot, not doing anything. And, she ended up saying to me, she's like, look, you're going to have to leave. And I just knew like how it was going. I was like, if I keep this up, then I know that I'm going to be back, locked up somehow, And that's when I decided, you know what, I'm going to go to California. And just like thinking like, I had like something special or something like that, And I ended up going to California just like with my last paycheck, bought a one-way ticket, and I had like $100 in my pocket. Yeah.
So where'd you go out of California?
I went out of LA because I heard about this place called Delancey Street that it's kind of like they take you in, like help you, whatever. And I knew I needed help. I didn't know necessarily like that being completely like sober or what it was. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like just a way to fall back, because like if they take you in, you don't pay no rent, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. So when I went out there, that's what I originally went into,
Mm-hmm.
I went in there and they accepted me, and and I was there for like 16 months. But towards like that time, I just like started like getting like, just like stagnant, I guess. Like it helped me a lot, but also like I started becoming negative.
Yeah.
And I ended up, leaving there prematurely. Like we was at a Christmas, like the ways that they make money is like Christmas tree lots. You know what I'm saying? They support themselves. It's a fully supporting like program. And so I just ended up keeping like money from there. And somebody else that left before me, my boy Justin, I ended up like staying over at his house, his apartment, but it wasn't nothing like, just he was staying like with his pops, like, and he didn't have a room or nothing, so it was like a bad situation, and we were like drinking every day again, and what, even like immediately when I got out of it, I ended up getting arrested, like I stole like something from like Sears or something. But they let me out immediately and gave me like, unsupervised whatever,
Yeah.
So it was not nothing because they didn't have my records from Maryland,
Oh yeah.
And then I ended up like getting into like smoking meth and stuff, and from there like I always did like Adderall like growing up, but like once I started doing meth, it started like messing with my head, and that's when I first like ran into like some real time because like I'd smoked some meth and it was a couple days and I started coming down and I ended up like thinking like I heard someone say they was gonna shoot me, so I like ran into like this apartment complex, like I ran inside of like this people's apartment and like this like Mexican family was like cooking dinner and stuff and I like ran in there and like barricaded myself behind the door and like they were just tripping out. I was like, someone's trying to shoot me. I was like, you can call the cops, I don't, but I was so tripped out even when the cops came. I'm thinking, they're just saying to the cops, so the cops are just having a rough time with me, they can't flip me over because for some reason I'm thinking they want to flip me over to shoot me in the face, and they ended up just like put me on a stretcher on like the little like ambulance or whatever. And I even heard like some of the cops talking while I was doing that, and they were like, "Does he have a gun on him?" And the other cop goes, "No," and the other cop goes, "Do you want him to?" Just like I was like, "Oh damn."
Mm-hmm.
So like I ended up like going. I don't know what they gave me. They must have gave me something, and so I woke up like in the jail, and this detective came to talk to me because they originally tried to charge me with like burglary. For going in the house, and he was like, look, man, he's like, normally burglary cases we see like, the intent to try to take something. I don't see that. And I was like, look, man, I was just high on, meth. You know what I'm saying? I tripped out. I didn't know what was going on. I thought someone was trying to shoot me, whatever. And so he ended up going off or whatever. And but then now they have my records from Maryland. So they're like. They're not going to charge me with the burglary, but they're trying to charge me with false imprisonment, because I wouldn't let anybody in or out, and resisting arrest. And they offered me a deal if I just take resisting arrest, I'd get 16 months, so I only had to do 8 months,
Yeah.
But if not, they're going to transfer my records, like give me a strike, double up my time, a bunch of crazy shit. So I just like pled guilty to the resisting arrest, and so that's my first time when I got sent to prison in California.
Yeah. Okay. Anything you can remember from being inside that sticks with you, whether it be good or bad? Any lessons, experiences?
Like I said, like I mean, it just becomes like a lifestyle. Like when you're in there, like you like little shit that like you are locked up, but then you have like all these other things, like you play cards, you work out, like what I'm saying, like. You have like this goal of like when you get out, so it's kind of like like, and then you're structured, like because when you're out here, like you don't have any structure, So and I never had any structure, so even there, like you start learning like structure, even though you don't want to learn it, but you have to. Like breakfast is at this time. You gotta wake up if you don't have any money to eat. You know what I'm saying? Little shit like that. Like you gotta if you do have a job, all right, I got to do this, I got to be, because you can stay up all night, all day if you want, Yeah. So, like, and like, people who don't work out here, like, for some reason, like, they, like, go to work at the jobs in the jails, in the prisons, like, and for some reason, like, you rarely see someone like, oh, I'm not gonna go to my work detail. They may not for one day, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, you know. But it's like, you know, it's like just a different life, and it's just like you just become institutionalized to it, you know.
Did you have a hard time readapting after everything?
Always, I mean, always, because every time I got out, it's always I'm thinking about like how big I'm gonna party that night, because you know what I'm saying. That's my reinclination back into society. Is now I can get anything that I want, you know what I'm saying, and I'm gonna have like this big party. It's gonna be grand, as if I'm gonna be in this club, you know, with all these people. But it doesn't even end up being like that. It ends up being like some, like, you know, I'm like alone, sketched out. Like it doesn't even, you know what I'm saying. But I don't remember those moments. I just remember like the good times of being high, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely an interesting story, man. I'm glad that's, you know, in the past for you. So how's everything going now? What's life look like now for you?
I mean, now it's like, you know, I got like a good job, what I consider a good job for like, you know, everything, you know, considering. So it's like my plan B is in place, you know, and then like, you know, I'm, you know, also like my whole life, like I've always been like funny, you know, and but it was always like funny for like a different reason, you know. It's like funny, like I want to make you laugh so you don't know what I'm going through, you know.
Yeah.
And so, you know, so people, it was always like, oh man, you should, you know, you should do stand up, even when I was in LA. But I was so like caught up in like drugs and stuff that I couldn't even focus on nothing like that. But now, like, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try it. And so I've been doing stand up comedy a year, and I mean, it's going real well. Like I got top 3 at Magoobies in October for like funniest comedian. So I know like next year I'm gonna be able to compete for funniest comedian. And it's like every time I go up, you know, it's just like every, you know, place I want somebody to laugh, like I make them laugh, you know, like it's just like, you know, a feeling of like knowing what I'm doing. Yeah.
That's good, man. Let me see. So what's your YouTube channel name so they can follow you?
So everything on YouTube is Bobby Raunch Comedy, BOBBYRAUNCH Comedy. I mean, my real name is Bobby McVeigh. The only reason I kind of like veered away from going with Bobby Raunch, because if people think that you're being raunchy or anything like that, they, you know, they think that you're being raunchy for the wrong reason. But like, I mean, I feel like I'm raunchy with class. Like I lived in the gutter. This is the type of shit I find funny, you know.
Right.
And I'm gonna make it funny to you. And every like show that I do, like it's consistent. Like it's funny.
What's your Instagram?
What's my Instagram? Yeah, Bobby Raunch.
Bobby Raunch.
Bobby Raunch.
That's good, man. Yeah, man. So that's good, man. As you all can see, Bobby is free now. How long have you been home, by the way?
I got out February 26, 2017. So I could get off parole this month in February.
All right. Yeah, 3 years. That's really good. Bobby has a job. He's on to his comedy work.
Calvin got a job.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Also, just have a daughter now.
Yeah, Skylar.
Skylar, and also he's married. So, you know, he's doing really good, man. Things could change for people. You know, people could change and do better, you know. And I'm glad everybody took the time to listen to Bobby, hear him out, hear his story. Make sure you support his comedy. He's really good at what he does.
Anytime you see me in Baltimore, Washington, D.C., you see me on a ticket, I'm going to make you laugh, I promise you.
We'll also have his information in the description as far as the YouTube page and his Instagram. Make sure you follow and you subscribe. Bobby, and thank you for coming on here with us. You know, this is our launch episode. We appreciate you being our first guest, man.
Always. Thank you.
Indeed. Thank you for tuning into this episode. Bobby sharing a phenomenal story with us, phenomenal experiences, and to me, a great lesson. Definitely was an inspiration to me. Hope it was to you as well, too. You gotta forgive us. You know, a couple things went wrong this episode. Not terrible, but I know a big one was my audio pack. I realized my hip pack wasn't on while I was asking Bobby a couple questions. Sorry about that. Sorry about a couple things you might also notice for the tech geeks and the audio and production geeks out there like myself. But it's all great for us because it's a free learning experience, and we promise you whatever went wrong today will never happen again. So thank you for making it to the end of this episode with us. We ask you to subscribe and like and share this with somebody because we have crazy stories and guests coming, phenomenal things to come from here. That was just the launch. That was the launch of Imagine We Have coming. So make sure you tune in, you subscribe, and share this with a friend. As well as, man, make sure you support Bobby. Bobby's great at comedy. He's been consistent. Man, I'm a fan already. We spend a lot of time with Bobby, even more than what you see on camera, of course. Behind the scenes, he's a great dude, hilarious. Make sure you support him. You can follow and subscribe to him at Bobby Ranch on YouTube and Instagram, but don't worry about that. I'll have his information in the description. As far as us, shout out to Captain Snacks, Brother Box, aka Nell, behind the camera and all the camera work. You can follow him on Instagram at Visuals by Nell, as well as on YouTube. And make sure you subscribe here for more videos and upcoming episodes, as well as you can follow me on Instagram at EddieAmbition. If you want to be a part of this show, you have a story, lifestyle, experience, or belief to share, and you would like to come on here and you're in the DMV area, then feel free to contact me either email or Instagram. My email is EddieAmbition@gmail.com, and once again, my Instagram is EddieAmbition. Once again, shout out to Brother Box, Bobby, and thank you for watching and tuning in. See you next time.